Hi there, my name is Mr. Pete. I am a fourth grade teacher, and I'm currently reading Louis Sachar's Holes. What a fantastic book. We are about to start chapter 25, which is the halfway point chapter-wise in this book. And we are heading down a path where I think you can start feeling the pace really pick up. We are learning about Green Lake from 110 years ago with Ms. Catherine Barlow and Charles Trout Walker. We are learning about this tube that Stanley thinks is a lipstick container and might connect to the outlaw Kissing Kate Barlow. We have a warden who's ticked off, who's somehow incorporated into this tube. We have also Mr. Sir, who has been treated badly by the warden, and Mr. Sir is clearly blaming Stanley for this. So I think now we're kind of in this point in the book where are we going to be in current time or are we going to learn more about Green Lake, which obviously plays a part in the whole plot structure of this book. Let's find out, chapter 25, what comes next. There was a doctor in the town of Green Lake 110 years ago. His name was Dr. Hawthorne, highlight new character. And whenever people got sick, they would go see Doc Hawthorne. But they would also see Sam, the onion man. Onions! Sweet fresh onions! Sam would call as he and his donkey, Mary Lou, walked up and down the dirt roads of Green Lake. Mary Lou pulled a cart full of onions. Sam's onion field was somewhere on the other side of the lake. Once or twice a week, he would row across the lake and pick a new batch to fill the cart. Sam had big, strong arms, but it would still take all day for him to row across the lake and another day for him to return. Most of the time, he would leave Mary Lou in a shed, which the walkers let him use at no charge. But sometimes he would take Mary Lou on his boat with him. Sam claimed that Mary Lou was almost 50 years old, which was, and still is, extraordinarily old for a donkey. She eats nothing but raw onions, Sam would say, holding up a white onion between his dark fingers. It's nature's magic vegetable. If a person ate nothing but raw onions, he could live to be 200 years old. So these stories seem to be old wives' tales, almost hyperbole. Is Mary Lou really almost 50? Do onions allow you to live a long time? Sam was not much older than 20, so nobody was quite sure that Mary Lou was really as old as he said she was. How would he know? Still, nobody ever argued with Sam, and whenever they were sick, they would go not only to Doc Hawthorne, but also to Sam. Sam always gave the same advice. Eat plenty of onions. He said that onions were good for digestion, the liver, the stomach, the lungs, the heart, and the brain. If you don't believe me, just look at old Mary Lou here. She's never been a sick a day in her life. He also had many different ointments, lotions, syrups, and pastes, all made out of onion juice in different parts of the onion plant. This one cured asthma, that one was for warts and pimples, another was a remedy for arthritis. He even had a special ointment which he claimed would cure baldness. Just rub it on your husband's head every night when he's sleeping, Mrs. Collinwood, and soon his hair will be as thick and as long as Mary Lou's tail. Doc Hawthorne did not resent Sam. The folks of Green Lake were afraid to take chances. They would get regular medicine from Doc Hawthorne and onion concoctions from Sam. Highlight concoction. That is like a mix. After they got over their illness, no one could be sure, not even Doc Hawthorne, which of the two treatments had done the trick. Doc Hawthorne was almost completely bald, and in the morning his head often smelled like onions. New characters, obviously Doc Hawthorne, Sam the Onion Man, and both of them are doctors, sort of. Sam is the doctor who prescribes onion stuff, and Doc Hawthorne is a regular doctor, and this town buys into both of them. The town has welcomed Sam, and he is treated very respectfully. He also keeps Mary Lou, the 50-year-old donkey, in the Walker's shed. Remember, Charles Walker's family was super duper rich. And he lives across the lake where there's an onion field. Whenever Catherine Barlow bought onions, she always bought an extra one or two and would let Mary Lou eat them out of her hand. Is something wrong? Sam asked her one day as she was feeding Mary Lou. You seem distracted. Oh, just the weather, said Miss Catherine. It looks like rain clouds moving in. Me and Mary Lou, we like the rain, said Sam. Oh, I like it fine, said Miss Catherine as she rubbed the donkey's rough hair on top of its head. It's just that the roof leaks in the schoolhouse. I can fix that, said Sam. What are you going to do? Catherine joked. Fill the holes with onion paste? Sam laughed. I'm good with my hands, he told her. I built my own boat. If it leaked, I'd be in big trouble. Catherine couldn't help but notice his strong, firm hands. They made a deal. He agreed to fix the leaky roof in exchange for 6 jars of spiced peaches. It took Sam a week to fix the roof because he could only work in the afternoons after school let out and before night classes began. Sam wasn't allowed to attend classes because he was a Negro, but they let him fix the building. Miss Catherine usually stayed in the schoolhouse grading papers and such while Sam worked on the roof. She enjoyed what little conversation they were able to have, shouting up and down to each other. She was surprised by his interest in poetry. When he took a break, she would sometimes read a poem to him. On more than one occasion, she would start to read a poem by Poe or Longfellow, only to hear him finish it for her from memory. Okay, so first of all, again, we're going to go back 110 years, and Sam is black. And back then, obviously, the rules were very different for people of color, people who were black and brown. And he wasn't allowed to go to school. But he obviously was very smart because he knew who Edgar Allan Poe was and Longfellow, and he could recite the same poems that Ms. Catherine Barlow could recite. So super smart man who was fixing her school. Not only fixing her school, but was a benefit to the town. She was sad when the roof was finished. Is something wrong? He asked. No, you did a wonderful job, she said. It's just that the windows won't open. The children and I would enjoy a breeze now and then. I can fix that, said Sam. She gave him 2 more jars of peaches, and Sam fixed the windows. It was easier to talk to him when he was working on the windows. He told her about his secret onion field on the other side of the lake, where the onions grow all year round and the water runs uphill, and the water runs uphill, and the water runs uphill, and the water runs uphill. When the windows were fixed, she complained that her desk wobbled. I can fix that, said Sam. The next time she saw him, she mentioned that the door doesn't hang straight, and she got to spend another afternoon with him while he fixed the door. By the end of the first semester, Onion Sam had turned the old rundown schoolhouse into a well-crafted, freshly painted jewel of a building that the whole town was proud of. People passing by would stop and admire it. That's our schoolhouse. It shows how much we value education here in Green Lake. The only person who wasn't happy with it was Miss Catherine. That's ironic. She's the teacher. Why wouldn't she be happy? She'd run out of things needing to be fixed. Why did she enjoy having things fixed? She sat at her desk one afternoon listening to the pitter-patter of the rain on the roof. No water leaked into the classroom except for the few drops that came from her eyes. Onions! Hot, sweet onions! Sam called out on the street. So she's sad. Why is she sad? She hears Sam. She ran to him. She wanted to throw her arms around him but couldn't bring herself to do it. Instead, she hugged Mary Lou's neck. Is something wrong? He asked her. Oh, Sam, she said, my heart is breaking. I can fix that, said Sam. She turned to him. He took hold of both of her hands and kissed her. Because of the rain, there was nobody else out on the street. Even if there was, Catherine and Sam wouldn't have noticed. They were lost in their own world. At that moment, however, Hattie Parker stepped out of the general store. They didn't see her, but she saw them. She pointed her quivering finger in their direction and whispered, God will punish you. So we have a situation where 110 years ago, in the late 1800s, we have a town in Texas where the teacher runs out and tells Sam in not so many words that she loves him, and he clearly cares about her too, and they kiss each other. And Hattie Parker thinks it's not only against the law, but it's against her religion. God will punish you. Different time. So again, we're learning more about those characters from Green Lake, and there's obviously a reason why, and obviously Onion Sam, the Onion Man, and Catherine Barlow have something to do with this. I'm not sure what, though, but we will find out. All right, leave your comments below. Tell me what you think. What's going on? If you've watched the movie, don't spoil. If you've read the book, don't spoil. Make some good predictions, though. All right. Like, subscribe, comment, and please, please, please continue an awesome discussion about an awesome book. All right. I will see you in the next chapter. Hopefully, we will find out a little more about Sam the Onion Man, or about Stanley and Mr. Sir, or about that gold tube. All right. I will see you on the next page. Peace.